Good morning, everybody. So good to see everybody on this not rainy day, right? It's nice to have this day and to be present with all of life, with God itself, and the Spirit that's coming through us. It's great to kind of take you guys in this morning. So good to have you here. And we like to start this service with some joyful music from Astra, so let's welcome Astra.
Thank you. Good morning. I think you're getting the hang of this one. I am opening. Won't you sing with me? I am opening to the love of Spirit. I am opening, beautiful, to the love of God. Again, I am opening to the love of Spirit. I am opening to the love of God. I let Spirit guide my day, living love in every way. Joy, I am opening to the joy of Spirit. I am opening to the joy of God. I am opening to the joy of Spirit. I am opening to the joy of God. I let Spirit guide my day, living joy in every way. I am opening to the love of Spirit. I am opening to the love of God. Beautiful.
You're right. Beautiful song, and you guys sounded great too. It's nice to have a little accompaniment with your songs these days. So I want to make sure that everybody knows you are welcome here at all times. All of you personally, all the different aspects of you, your different expressions, as well as all religions, all faiths, cultures, races, orientations, gender expressions, that all are welcome always. So glad to have everybody here today and for this joyous expression. We'd like to begin our service with our vision and mission statement. So if you'll look up on the screen and read with me. We are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. A glorious affirmation for us today and always, so grateful that you're affirming that with me today. So today is Green Bag Sunday. We appreciate those who have been participating in this program, which brings food to the food bank year around, not just during holidays. So we so appreciate it. If you participated in the Green Bag program, by bringing food last week or this week or during the week, if you could raise your hand so we can acknowledge you. Oh, look at all those people. Thank you. Thank you. And the children and the youth program are working with they're doing art project with some of the food that was brought in. So you'll see that at the end of the service. So that'll be kind of fun. This coming Friday is the Tibetan sound healing, or sound of healing. And you experience a transformative power of Tibetan music featuring soothing melodies from traditional instruments like singing bowls, a Duran Yin, a Dongchen, and cymbals, led by the practitioners of this music. This immersive experience harness ancient wisdom to promote relaxation, stress relief, and holistic well-being. This particular group was here about 20 years ago. And I learned something about the history of this. So somebody told me, and I didn't realize this, that when they came 20 years ago, there was some resistance to them being here. And there was a person, her name is Eloise English, and she was say it again? Eloise, thank you. And she was a part-time Methodist, part-time Center for Spiritual Living, and part-time Buddhist. I don't know how that all adds up, but she was a little bit of everything. She was at the Methodist Church when they started announcing this concert 20 years ago, and somebody complained because it wasn't Christian. And she stood up, this meek lady stood up and said, I beg to differ. Being Christian is open to all faiths, all people. That was the model that Jesus had. And they sat down and were quiet. And so the Methodist Church, this time around, put it in their newsletter and is advertising it. So things have progressed, particularly with our local Methodist Church. It's being the Unitarians and other people are promoting it. And it's receiving a lot of attention from outside our community. So the good news is that we are half sold out of tickets. We've already sold over 30 tickets, 35 tickets. So I'm telling you, if you want to go and you haven't bought your ticket, you better do it because we could sell out. So don't count on coming on Friday night and getting your tickets. So make sure you get your tickets to that. It'll be a fun evening to do that. The returning musicians that are here will be part of that. And then the very next day, we have Earth Day, the celebration out at the Commons, Oxbow Commons. And we decided, since it's on a Saturday this year, that we have a booth. And so I'm asking you to help us host the booth. We're going to have different games, dice games and roll a wheel game and different giveaways and things like that. So it'll be fun and interactive, particularly for the kids. And so I need people to help me do that. And so if you're interested in doing that, can you meet me by there's a wishing tree back by the kitchen. We named it that because we did an activity one year where we were doing wishes. So meet me back there at noon. That'll be, and then we'll talk about, because we have two shifts, one from 10 to 1:30 and one from 1:30 to 4:30. So if you could help that out, that would be great. Some people already signed up, so that's great, but we need a few more people, particularly in the second shift. And then, of course, we have the Sip and Savor coming up, and where we're at in the process of Sip and Savor is we're still taking donations. If you have any donations for our auctions of wine or art or jewelry or gift baskets, or if you know restaurants or wineries that might give gift cards or tasting certificates, that's great. But primarily what we're focused on now is finding places if you want to volunteer for you to do that. And right now we need some room. We need, speaking of spinning the wheel, we're going to have a spin the wheel and a raffle here. We need somebody to help sell those, sell the tickets for that, and spin the wheel for people. They win prizes. It's a lot of fun to do. And we're also looking for people to help with a silent auction and also set up before the event on Saturday morning at 10 and clean up afterwards. So that's, but you can help with any areas we need. So there's a big whiteboard that looks like this. Just go look for that whiteboard. You won't miss it. And there'll be somebody there to help you find places that you can volunteer. But as I mentioned, we're going to continue to take in items for the auction, sign up wineries, and at the event starts at 3 o'clock, but almost right away at 3:30, we'll have the award presentations of our Compassion Award winners, which we're excited about this year. And it's for continuing the compassionate work that we do in this valley. So thank you for supporting it. And so tickets are now on sale as well. We're also doing well on ticket sales there, but we have a lot more room in the courtyard. We've sold about 50 tickets, but we have room for 200, so we have many more. So tell your friends about it, post it, invite them, give their flyers in our lobby, make sure they know about the event, because it is a celebration of compassion in the valley, and so many people really enjoy this event that are beyond our community. And we're kind of the host of it So we like to show them the compassion that we are during that event. And we have meditation on Wednesdays, and I think that our April and early May are so busy, we're just going to leave it at that for enough announcements for that. So we want to begin the sacred part of our service now. And to do that, we've been doing a repetition of the same meditation song, and now we're starting a new meditation song. So as we come into this sacred time, you can listen to it once, and you'll go through it a couple times probably. Okay.
You are a part of it. I am a part of it. Magic happens everywhere. Take a breath, you'll find it there. You are a part of it, and I am a part of it. Magic happens everywhere. Take a breath, take a breath. Revolving tide, creating life. You are the one, I am the one. Evolving mind, healing life. You are the one, we are one. You are a part of it, and I am a part of it. Magic happens everywhere. Take a breath, you'll find it there. You are a part of it, and I am a part of it. Magic happens everywhere. Take a breath, take a breath. Revolving tide, creating life. You are the one, I am the one. Evolving mind, healing life. You are the one, we are one. You are a part of it, and I am a part of it. Magic happens everywhere. Take a breath, you'll find it there. Relax into your chairs and open your heart to the loving spirit, to the loving bright light, to the joyful bright light. Let it wash over you throughout your whole body. Know that this light, this love, this joy is with you all of the time. Never are you separated.
And when you feel comfortable to open your eyes, take this love, this light of spirit with you throughout the day. And let it open your day with joy and compassion for all that's around you. Let it open up your love for this community that loves you dearly. And so it is. So I'm supposed to tell you a little story. So I remember this story when I was in 6th grade. Well, actually in elementary school. If you remember, most of us all had this, where we had a grab bag. So we, every year, the last day of school, we had a grab bag. And we had to bring a gift to the grab bag, and from kindergarten throughout all of elementary. And so I always wanted the Lifesaver book. I mean, I really wanted the Lifesaver book. And it was special, very special. So every year I was hoping I would get this Lifesaver book. And it didn't happen. So by 6th grade, this was my last chance. So I was all excited, brought my gift wrapped, and getting ready for this. This was my last chance. And my desk mate, Matt, I'm going to call him, I can't remember his name. By the way, I didn't like him at all. And he didn't like me, and he tried to torture me every day. But anyway, that doesn't matter. So I just want to throw that in. So anyway, he shows up, and he's all disheveled, and he doesn't look like he had a good morning. I mean, it looked like a tough morning. And I looked at him, and that didn't, of course, that was sad. And I asked him, well, the teacher said, get your gifts out, and let's get going with that. So I asked him, where's his gift? And he said, I don't have one. And he just looked at his desk. And of course, that's rough. So I said, we got to get going on this, figure this out. So I said, I have this pen that's almost brand new. Let's wrap it up, and we'll put that in the gift bag for you. And so we did. And he got the pen back, which was rough. I know. And I got the Lifesaver book. Yes. Anyway, I looked over at him, and I just didn't feel like celebrating the fact that I got this Lifesaver book. So I thought about it, and I said, you know, Matt, I'd get in huge trouble if I showed up at home without my pen. So can we trade? And we did, and I will never forget the smile. And I will never forget how good I felt. And there was so much love in that moment that I will always treasure it. And I think about it all the time when we're talking about gifts and things and presents and ownership. And I think about that, and I know it's really important. So that's my story.
I know you're all going to recognize this song, so sing along if you know the words. You say you want a revolution, well, you know, we all want to change the world. You tell me that it's evolution, well, you know, we all want to change the world. But when you talk about destruction, well, don't you know that you can count me out? Don't you know it's gonna be alright, 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 alright. You say you got a real solution, well, you know, we'd all love love to see the plan. You ask me for a contribution. Well, you know, we're all doing what we can. But if you want money for people with minds that hate, all I can tell you is, brother, you've got to wait. Don't you know it's gonna be alright, alright, alright. Don't you know it's gonna be alright, alright. You say you'll change the Constitution. Well, you know, we all wanna change your head. You tell me it's the institution. Well, you know, you better free your mind instead. But if you go carrying pictures of Chairman Mao, you ain't gonna make it with anyone anyhow. Everybody, don't you know it's gonna be alright, alright, alright. Don't you know it's gonna be alright, alright. One more time, don't you know it's gonna be alright, alright, alright. Don't you know it's gonna be alright, alright.
Thank you, Astra. That was a lovely, great song. We had talked about that song. She offered to play it because today our theme is let's start a LovEvolution, a revolution, an evolution of love. And I so appreciate, Michelle Wilson, your talk today, because that's the kind of things that create a LovEvolution. It's not our own personal win or benefit, but it's when we can make wins for everybody. And you felt better than if you had taken that home. There's that win-win in that. So it's about starting the LovEvolution. This is part of our theme to talk about gentle giantness. And our theme, our mural here, our image is around elephants. So I brought in an elephant somebody gave me. A beautiful little elephant, just a symbol. It's from India, and thank you for that gift, and I just appreciate that. And but it's a great, the elegance that's within us, that's a gentleness, that's a creative part of us, that is a inner strength that we have. It's a, somebody once told me that we don't want to tell God how big our problems is, but tell our problems how big our God is. And that's that giant gentleness within us, the inner spirit, the inner knowing, the power that's within us. If you think about some of the spiritual giants in spirituality and politically too, people like Gandhi and Louise Hay, they were fairly short people. They weren't that tall, 5 foot 5 inches. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was only 5'7". Ernest Holmes, our founder, was 5'2". Now, another person I've never met Ernest Holmes, but I met Michael Beckwith. He's maybe 5'7", not knotted, but boy, his presence will just knock you backwards. And that's what I'm thinking about. These people, Gandhi and Louise Hay and Dr. King and Ernest Holmes, they were giants in what they did. And I loved what Ernest Holmes also said. He always talked about this inner power. He talked about there's a power greater than us, a power for good greater than us. And we can use it, or we can let it use us to create good, to create a LovEvolution. I think this week was a good model of the LovEvolution model, because I believe the way we are going to have a LovEvolution, an evolution of our love, is not standing across from each other, comparing how we're different, but to stand side by side, shoulder to shoulder, and finding our common ground. How we are alike, not how we are different. So this week when people went to go look at if they were in part of the totality and they were looking at the eclipse, they stood side by side and they shared a common experience. And I think we want to create moments that we can have common experience with people, shoulder to shoulder, and we lose or let go of some of the things that might separate us or divide us, and we come together as one. Now, part of my family was in Texas, so I had to show off pictures of them. So this is my mom to the left there, 93, about to be 94, my son to the right, and my sister standing up there. And my niece is there who took the photo, and once again, my son and her dog. And so when the eclipse did happen, the important thing for my niece was to protect her dog's eyes. You know, but they did have the totality there in Austin. They said it lasted for several minutes. It was pretty cool. Like, it was just kind of spooky and odd and great. But that's the way we can have common shared experiences there. This is actually a view from the Webb telescope. So it's out beyond our atmosphere and saw the eclipse in this way. I mean, isn't that beautiful? And you can actually see details of the dark. We don't ever get to see the dark side of the moon because it's dark. But this Webb telescope picked up a lot of details of it and then had this beautiful astral view of what that is. And it is gorgeous, isn't it? It does. So let's begin talking more about this idea about this gentle giantness as our strength. St. Francis de Sales said, nothing is so strong as gentleness, and nothing so gentle as strong. I want to go back to this idea about the song that Astra sang. Of course, obviously, it's a Lennon-McCartney tune, the Beatles, and their wisdom in that song. I've heard interviews or articles about the way they wrote music. Often it was streamed. It was intuitive, their wording of things. They didn't think through it all the time about, well, if I just said this, people might think that. It was more like poetry or like an artist who paints a picture. So I believe that some of their words were channeled words, if you want to call it that. And when they were talking in it about so this revolution, this evolution, and how it opens us up in greater ways, that when you talk about destruction, you can count me out. So we don't want it to be a violent thing. And also, if it's about hate, brother, you're going to have to wait. So it's about love. It's about evolution. It's about creative parts of who we are in that way. And when we talk about change, we talk about an evolution. Many of us here and millions of people across this globe have had changes in their lives because they have had mindfulness, they've opened up their heart, they've been intentional, they've allowed this, what Ernest Holmes talked about, this power for good to create shifts in their lives. But sometimes we don't know how to take these experiences we have within us and create them out in the world to make a bigger change. The one thing I always say is you can't do it alone. Because the more people that are together, the more people that are combined in this intention, this effort, the more power it has. There's also been scientific experiments done, and there's been proof, evidence, a positive change in water molecules, DNA, physical health, and different things that have been measured by science. But at the same time, these have been very, what they call small numbers of people. So some other scientists discount that. Or it's hard to replicate, to repeat it in the laboratory. And so it's often this work is discounted. But I think we can walk through today and look at some of the reasons why this is not that the way scientists are going about it without the variable of God or spirit or consciousness is not going to create the same kind of results that people that are taking in the idea that there is a consciousness. I know when we work at the cellular level, the conscious level, the energy, the intuitive level, there's not a roadmap. I wish there was, but there's not. And it is different for every person. But there are certain things that are the same. And that's what I want to walk through today. What the same things that we can count on, the common ground. I know another reason why sometimes these repeated experiments that are done don't get the same results as some people have is because there's a resistance to change. I don't know about you, but when I was in high school, I had a beater of a car. It was an older car. Usually your first cars are, because they get nicks and bumps and things like that, so it's probably good. But my friends had beater cars too. So we ended up pushing cars a lot of times. We had stick shift. So, if you pushed a car, you could pop the clutch and get it going even when you had a bad battery. Of course, that didn't help when you ran out of gas, but that was another matter. But inevitably, when a group of my friends and I were trying to push a car, someone would forget to take off the emergency brake, right? Or they'd be holding the brake with their foot. And, we'd be going, "Do you have the brake on?" "Oh, yeah. That's like resistance does. We need to notice when there's a break, a drag. I've noticed on my bike when it was the brake pad on my tire was dragging. It wasn't stopping me, but it was dragging. So just notice that resistance that's there. Notice that. But because out in the world there's a lot of fear, there's been a lot of change happening in this world in the last 2 decades. And sometimes it just takes people time to process this change. And sometimes their resistance is just a fear about so much change. And do you realize it was less than 15 years ago when our President of the United States wouldn't support gay marriage? And that president was actually Barack Obama. And it wasn't until 2012 when he was the first president to name it. And then later it was supported by the Supreme Court the Supreme Court. And so, and then it was in 2016 when they had the resurgence of women's marches that marched for women's rights and the right to choose. 2020 was when George Floyd was killed, and the Black Lives Matter was already a movement, but suddenly it became a bigger deal. More people were supporting it. So there's just been a lot of change going on, and for some people that's been too much. And so some of that resistance is a pushback. But in our own life, sometimes if we have a lot of change going on in our life, a lot of shifting, a lot of movement, that sometimes we kind of put the brakes on for just time. Just hold on for a moment. Just let me give me a moment. And it's fine to take that moment. It's fine to take that moment. But just be aware that that's what you're doing. And be aware that sometime Spirit's going to invite you to take the brake off and allow more Spirit through you as you. I like the last few months and last year we're talking about the change process as something like a birth process. And both the mother breathes to allow this birth to happen, but also the baby who's been, has pressure put on them when they get out of the womb, they too need to breathe. So whichever way metaphorically you are in your life, you're coming through a birth process or you're helping midwife change in people's lives, we just need to make sure we're breathing, we're opening. So in this way of why some of these experiments don't work, I'd like to talk more importantly about what does work, about what we can do to make sure that we're open to change in our lives. So if you think about the eclipse as obscuring the light, hiding it, then when we let the light out, it's revealing the light. So how do we reveal this love evolution, this change? Well, the first thing is be willing to experiment. Be willing just to see what works. Thomas Edison, I just love his quote that he said that he found 999 ways that didn't create an electric bulb and one that did. But he never said those others were failures. He said they're just ways that didn't work. Because in that process, he learned what did work. So some of us think we mess up or something, but that's all the process of evolving, the level of evolving in our lives, that we know, well, that didn't work. Let me try something different. And so we keep using different variables in our lives. Most of you may know, I don't know if you know or not, but before we were Centers for Spiritual Living, 15 years ago, we changed our name from Religious Science. I don't know how many people have heard that name, Religious Science. Okay, so most of you know that name. It just didn't work in modern terminology because people weren't interested in religion necessarily. They're more interested in spirituality. And the word science kind of threw people around because they thought Scientology or Christian Science or something like that. So we changed our name. But the truth is, the beginning roots of our movement are religious science. And that science part of it is fascinating because it's where spirituality meets science. And we try different things. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, would try different things. He was a synthesizer of information, and he would try things in order to manifest and help other people manifest what they wanted to create in their lives. Pam Grout wrote 2 books. She's written many books, but the ones I have read, one's called E Squared, and the other one's called E Cubed. And they're both do-it-yourself energy experiments that prove your thoughts create your reality. They're kind of fun. They're just simple little experiments. And one is, she gave an example of one, which I thought was just, I didn't try it yet, but I want to. She said to take 2 egg cartons, empty egg cartons, put soil in them, put seeds, the same seed, like a bean seed grows pretty fast, a bean seed in each little carton. Keep it watered. Have both exposed to the same light, moisture, everything the same, except one of the cartons, one of these 12 little cubicles, talk to it, send it love, give it good energy, know that God is feeding it from its roots and it's growing strong and big, and the other one, ignore. I don't even want to talk to you, just ignore it and see if there's a difference. Now, I can't guarantee you there will be a difference, but it's the way we play. So if there's not much difference, try a different way to do it. Keep playing with it. And the same with our lives, have that sense of curiosity and fun, that we can identify ourselves, if you want to call it a religious scientist or a spiritual scientist, whatever that name that you have, but you're willing to see life as a mystery and keep playing with it. Keep open to the idea. And the next thing I would say in this idea of so I missed a quote here. So this is a Woman Stands Shining. Her name is Pat McCabe, also her American name, but her Lakota name is Woman Stands Shining. That's a great name, I think, isn't it? So she said that there is unequivocal call to love. Unequivocal. Unarguable. It's there. Let's see what love will come meet us. In other words, when we're doing these experiments, we know the love is there. So what can we do that allows love to meet us where we are, meet us, within community, within situations that are difficult? What can we do that allows love to meet us there, to be with us, to be that which we come from, that we open to? We know love is there. That's the part that, when scientists talk about variables, right? And variables are things that you can change in experiments, but there's some things that you want constant. What's constant is this love. It's a constant, always there. So the next thing I would say, we want to work with a team. You don't need to work by yourself. Scientists work as you've heard the term, team of scientists. We can't do it all alone. When Greg Braden, the spiritual teacher, sought to change the pH of water, he did it with a group energy. When we do prayer, we do collective prayer, because this collection of energy, of knowing, of consciousness has more power than a single person. Woman Stand Shining also said, all of us were sent here with spiritual help swarming around us. And it can do nothing for us until we ask, because that's the law. So it's there. We just have to allow it, to invite it, to engage it, to allow it to come through us, because that's the law, she says. Love will come meet us in this hour of our not knowing. We don't have to know how. We just have to be willing and open. And that brings up the next one, to be open to miracles. Notice your resistance. Last week I talked about Dr. Emma Sapala, and she gave the formula that awareness plus courage equals sovereignty. And that's her book about being sovereign. What a great concept. But I'd like to change it around just a little bit, because awareness and courage also equals change. When we're aware of what's going on, we notice resistance, we notice what we can let go, we notice beliefs that don't work for us. This is what begins this shifting, this healing. The studies that have done about prayer are mixed, just like a lot of scientific experiments are. But this is what's interesting. The people who volunteered to pray for others, what's consistent is they reported almost 100% feeling more content, happier, meaningful, more joyful. But the subject they prayed for, it was inconsistent change. But for them, so for us to do spiritual practice, we're changing our lives. The question is, how do we change others? Well, some of it, they have to be open to it. They have to, and in their own time, they do that. Many years ago, probably about 25, 30 years ago, I was going to a Protestant church at that time. And this was a progressive church, and that's why I started going there. I was kind of mixing progressive Christianity with my new thought at that time. And the church decided they wanted to be, the minister there said, I'd like to make this a welcoming and affirming church. And there was some resistance to that. So he started a lot of small groups and discussions and fireside chats and talking about things, not trying to push it through. This is what he believed, but he didn't want to push it through. Well, I participated in that for about 2 months, and then I got fed up. I just said, why is this even a question? Should be automatic. So I left. And it took them another 10 months, and they did come to that welcome and affirming. You know, I kept up with people that went there, and that's great they did, but I just, if the community was that, if it was that hard, I needed a different community. But maybe I should have stuck around, because maybe I could have been part of that change. I don't know. I just, at that time, I was not a very patient person. And what's interesting, the history of that church now, so about 20% of the people left because of that welcome and affirming, and another the size doubled because they were supported in that. And this is a very conservative town, Colorado Springs, so it's great. So we also want to be able to affirm from oneness. Now, this is the main reason I think a lot of these replications of these experiments haven't worked, because words by themselves mean nothing. They are just words. You can do an affirmation. You're going to have to do that about 1,000 times before it makes a difference in your brain that is rewiring it. If you do it from a place of, I am connected with all that is, and I know this truth is being revealed in me as God itself, of my power, my love, my creativity, that has power. That's where the power is. It's not us individual thinking something, but it's our whole soul speaking it, singing it, praying it, believing it, knowing it to be so. This is that deeper connection. I was reading, I was actually listening to a YouTube with a woman standing, now I don't have her name right, woman standing light, shining, stands shining. And she talked about, she picked up a glass of water and she said, this water that I drink is ancient water. Because we have a closed system on this planet. So this water has been around for millions of years and gets evaporated into the clouds and goes up and snows on the mountains nearby, and then it melts and comes back down. It is the fog that rolls in. And my ancestors drank this water. People on all continents drank this water. It is water that connects us all. So when you drink water, it is the flow of life. And so she affirmed how we are all one in that way, that we can affirm the truth of who we are. So today, I'll take another drink while I'm here. We're going to do some experimenting with water. Water is actually a pretty amazing thing on this planet. What's interesting, we are 70% water ourselves, and the planet is 70% water. Isn't that an interesting phenomena? It's also unique the way life has to work. What has to be about the water is it has to exist in three states. In liquid, in solid and ice, and in evaporation in the gas form as well. Has to. Now sometimes this planet has had more ice and sometimes less ice. We're going into a period of less ice right now. And I think the lessening of the ice is a natural phenomena, and we have majorly accelerated that melting process. And we can still do things to reverse or slow down that process of climate change. And we do everything we can with Earth Day coming up. But with Earth Day coming up, that's why I wanted to talk about water a little bit. And so I wanted to, and also I want to say that all religions, all cultures revere water as God itself, as Spirit itself. And here's Woman Stands Shining, a little clip from her about water.
In the Lakota way of prayer, which has by now become almost a global saying, Mani Wachoni, they said, that has a lot of meaning, but a kind of shorthand is to say that water is life. Not only is water life, but water is also alive. So it has consciousness. The water is listening to us.
Masaru Emoto. And he took water and did experiments with it in different ways, took crystals of it. So I have a little clip from him too, and that one doesn't have any sound. I'm just going to kind of walk through it. He said that the water is the mirror that reflects the human soul. It is the blueprint of our reality, which can change with a single positive thought. So his thought is, if we can change water, particularly water within us, but water around us as well, that it can shift the consciousness of the planet. So here's a little thoughts about what he talked about. So he took slides or frozen slides of a polluted river and compared it to a clean stream. And I think this is moving, isn't it? Maybe it's not. Whoops. Let's see. Is that going, Georgia? Yeah, it's going. And then he took slides of water that's exposed to healing music and compared it to heavy metal music. So you can see the difference there. Now, also, he exposed water to different words like thank you and love and appreciation, and compared it to if he would say negative things to it, like I hate you or I'm going to kill you. So you can see the difference in those phrases. And so if this is the water, and you can see them compared there. So if this is the water within us, it has a lot of power. Now, once again, when people have tried to, and then also before prayer, I forgot this was in there too, and a slide before prayer, and then a slide after prayer. So if you think about that in terms of what's inside of us, this water. Now, these experiments have had is one that other scientists have had trouble replicating it. But where do these words come from? If they just stick a little label on a bottle of water saying, thank you, then it's not going to do much because it's just words. But if you take it and there's some consciousness behind it, then there is. I'm going to invite Renee up here. I'm going to get her microphone over here. So Renee and I have had this conversation lately about water, and I wanted her to bring her up. I can keep from breaking things here. And just share a few things with you about what her thoughts about this, the blessing that we're going to do. Go ahead.
Good morning. Well, it's fascinating that you just mentioned sticking a label on and that it doesn't do much, because I used to do that when I heard about Emoto's work. I started sticking love and gratitude and all these. In fact, there was whole sheets of stickies you could get at the time. It was quite a fad. And I would stick them on there. And I didn't really notice a lot. And so the difference is what we're bringing today is consciousness. I didn't sit and pray over it. I didn't work with my intentions with the labels. So it didn't do much. Mm-hmm. So now I'm really excited to start. So we talked about doing this experiment, and I realized that I had forgotten sort of about it, and that you can sit your clear glass like on a coaster that's like a healing image or a beautiful lake or mountain scene, and that water will get imbued by that mirror image of that beautiful nature, because we are part of that nature. And it empowers it with those beautiful crystals. So now I've got, another link is that I didn't quite have it put together right. So,
so we have prepared bottles of water here that have the phrase. And do you want to talk about the three phrases?
Okay, and also I'd like to just mention that people at home, we have bottled water that Jay got from the creek, right?
No, actually, this is spring water I got.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's what they said.
But people at home, if you have a glass bottle or jar or anything, go ahead and fill that with water and join us while we do this blessing ceremony.
And they don't have to have the words on it or anything. They can just say the words.
So. It's one way to get creative with it is to put words on. Another is to set the bottle on a picture. But really what we're doing with our experiment is sending the love into the water, knowing that it's a mirror. It has consciousness, and it holds the memory of what we give it. So since we're made of water, it makes you get a little more self-conscious about what you're saying to yourself or to another, right? If you say some mean thing to somebody, it's like your body's hearing that, their water's hearing it, your water's hearing it in your body, and it's not a really good outcome. Mm-hmm. And I see the proof every week because I go home and I feel good after church, don't you? It's like we've had all this little love fest where we've shared love, we've shared prayers and blessings, and it really feels good in the body. Right. So I'm just you.
Well, let's
you
talk
said
about
all
the words.
So
I love you. I thank you. I respect you. So it's loving, sending loving energy into this water, grateful for the water, grateful for the way this earth is with the water. But the word respect has an interesting thing. Do you want to talk about that some? What you know
Well,
about that?
we were discussing respect, and we know respect more as somebody who's done something in our culture. But being Japanese, Dr. Emoto was talking about. We were thinking he's meaning more honor. You know, in Japan they're very honoring, and in that position of honoring, we do that when we do prayer position. I can't do that right now.
Right here, I'll do it for you. Here,
Thank
like
you.
this.
Like that.
Yeah.
And when you do prayer position, you're actually touching the heart and the heart chakra. So you're awakening that. So that's one of the ways you can do as we pass the water around. You can be doing prayer position, or you can hold your hands up, because the heart chakra actually comes out, and we have healing chakras in our hands too. So you can send the water as it's going around, and each person can just hold it for a few moments and then passing it along. But if we all connect with that heart chakra, with that love, with that coherence, we're going to imbue this water with all of that loving
With the
energy.
reverence. Yeah.
And Dr. Emoto said the two biggest words with the most beautiful crystals were love and gratitude. So I'm going to be repeating some or saying some phrases like that to just keep us all together and focused. And if you'll repeat them after me when I say them, and their love and gratitude is really big. He said that we're all connected through water, through nature, and that love and gratitude drives nature. And you know, after working with this a little bit, I see it. We're so used to water. We've always had water, right? But it is this deeper meaning is, I think, can be really life-changing for us, and really inform in our houses, our homes, to do prayerfulness in water like we're going to do here.
And
or for children to raise them with that consciousness.
We're going to take, exactly. We're going to take this water when we finish with it today, and different people, if you end up with a jar, you can give it to someone to go to the creek, to the bridge, and pour it into the creek. Now, there's two purposes of this. One is because what I know in my prayer work, if I know a perfect pattern in my life, that perfect pattern of health or wealth will spread throughout my body. I just need to know there's a perfect pattern there, and I can know there's a perfect pattern for each person, that perfect pattern is creating health within you. And I can know that. So the same is true, that this water is a perfect pattern, that we have blessed it, and so this blessing goes into the water, and it flows down the creek, into the river, into the bay, into the ocean, spreading this light. Second of all, this gives you a format to bless any water you see, any person you see, any situation you are in. I bless you, I thank you, I respect you. Okay? Go ahead.
Okay, so as you start to pass around the bottles, we'll start with these prayer position, or hands out, or however you're comfortable. And we'll say together, water, I thank you.
Water, I thank you.
Water, I love you.
Water, I love you.
Water, I respect you.
Water, I respect you. And then
Water.
pass it to someone else.
Water, I bless you.
Water, I bless you.
Thank you, water, for blessing me.
Thank you, water, for blessing me.
I am so grateful for you.
For you. Keep
You-
passing the water.
Thank you for making my life possible,
Thank you for making my life possible.
and for making all life on earth possible.
Making all life possible.
Thank you for being you in all of your beautiful forms.
Thank you for being you in all of your beautiful forms.
Water, I thank you.
Water, I thank you.
Water, I love you.
Water, I love you.
Water, I respect you
Water, I respect you
and honor you
and honor you
for all the things you do
for all the things you do.
Water, I bless you.
Water, I bless you.
And thank you for blessing me.
Thank you for blessing me.
I am so grateful for you.
I'm so grateful. Raise your hand if you haven't had water yet. It needs somebody over here. If you can get somebody, pass it over to there. Now you got lots of water.
You have it? You had some? Good.
That's great. So I also want to say to the community, community, we can say we love you. Community, we are grateful for you. Community, we respect you.
Community, we respect you.
Beautiful. Thank you. So we'll go on with the service, but you can keep passing those around or just set it on the floor. And then if you want to be the person that pours into the creek, you just hold on to your jar. Don't let anybody else have it. Or you could do it as a team, like we're supposed to be doing this together. So we'll all go to the bridge and pour it into the creek, and we can do that. So thank you very much for doing that. But let's make sure we get every jar poured into the creek. That's the important thing. So, all right.
I let love flow, I let everything go, I let love flow. I let love flow, I let everything go, I let love flow. Sing it with me. I let love flow, I let everything go, I let love flow. I let love flow, I let everything go, I let love flow. Yes, everything changes with inspiration as my guide. Yes, everything changes when my passion is alive. I move forward with joy. 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 I let love flow. I let love flow. I let everything go. I let love flow. I let love flow. I let everything go. I let love flow. Yes, everything changes with inspiration as my guide. Yes, everything changes when my passion is alive. I let love flow. I let everything go. I let love flow. I let love flow. I let everything go. I let love flow.
Thank you so much. This is a time in our service we invite you to be part of the law of circulation. We have a number of ways for you to participate in this, in giving. We appreciate all that we give. If our ushers could come forward. We appreciate all that you've given in the past, today, or in the future. We honor that gift you giving as a spreading of love, and we know that love comes back to you. We also know that as you feed the vision and mission that we have, that too increases the flow of and the clarity and evolution of our vision and mission. So let us take what you've given either previously, today, or in the future, and just bless it by saying this affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate, and so it is.
All that I am, I offer at the altar of love. All that I am, I offer at the altar of love in sweet surrender, in sweet surrender. All that I am, all that I am, I offer at the altar of love. All that I am, I offer at the altar of love in sweet surrender, in sweet surrender.
How beautiful. Please know, after this service, there will be ways to pay for either the Tibetan concert or your tickets to Sip and Savor at the welcome table if you want to do that, right? Or you can do it online. Either one works. We appreciate that. This is the time in our service. We also want to welcome anybody who might be here for the first time. We love our people coming here and spreading the word because we get to interact with different kinds of people, different ways of doing things, and we want this to be a team effort, this LovEvolution. So if you're willing to raise your hand, we have a gift for you, and we just want to honor you. Thank you for being here today. And even if it's your second, third, fourth, or fifth time here, we want to honor your continuing community involvement. So we have a blessing for our new people. We raise our hands and we say, we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community, and so it is. Do we have children? I know we have children, but are they coming in? That's the question. We didn't lose them, I promise you. They're not coming in? Mary went to go get them. Oh, well, yeah. Well, they'll come in a minute, but we'll just do our affirmation for them now. So we'll just send it out there. We love you, we care about you, and we're here for you. And we respect you. That's right. We should say that, right? Yeah, and we're grateful. Yes, that's great. Let's all stand for the community affirmation. And then followed by, we have a new song here. Oh, practitioners, could you come forward, please? So you're welcome to stay for prayer afterwards for our personal one-on-one affirmative prayer. Prayers are also in the lobby if you want to fill one out, or online. So we got some kiddos coming in. Come on in. What you got there? You got some food? Imelda, could you get the microphone for me? Don, thank you for being with them today. It was a lot. There's a lot of kids. So, Don, there's the microphone right there. So what did you do today?
So today we watched a video on helping others and helping others in a way to give food to those who don't have enough food.
Oh.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about helping others?
helping others is nice because if they don't have food, you can eat a lot.
All right, what else? Helping others? No?
Okay.
How would you like to help others? You told me.
Trying to be funny.
Okay. All right. That's
And
good.
then-
No.
And then we decorated the bags with lots of loving energy because we learned that helping others doesn't always have to cost money.
That's right. That's right. Good. Good. Okay. Thank you. Yes, Mary.
Just want to say, after blessing the water, when I went back to let them know about coming forward, the kids were all drinking water.
That's great. That's great. Oh, that's one. That's okay. We can leave it off. All right. The committee affirmation. Please repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. I am led by Spirit. I'm guided by wisdom. I am protected by love. I am here to be a blessing. I am so grateful. And so it is. And now a new closing song. For some of you, you might remember it from when we had it a couple years ago. I am a stand for peace.
Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. We are making a new world now. We are making a new world now.
So as we go forward, let's go make a new world now and create a LovEvolution in the world. And so it is.